Hello everyone, welcome to my first comprehensive character review. We're going to be starting on a unit I've been waiting on for a while now, which is Jayden Rundell. These reviews will most likely be the longest type of videos I make, as I really want to break down where they currently stand in the current meta. So sit back, ready to take some notes, if this is a unit you want to, or should build, if at all. Since this is our first comprehensive character review, I'm going to explain to you on the 8 different categories I'm going to be breaking down each character from here on out. We're going to start off with character overview, the slide that you guys just saw before. We're then going to go into rating their TMR. We're going to go over their resistances, all of their skills, what equipments and special TMRs that I think are best for them, as well as their Espers, what other units / teammates would be good for them, and then lastly their vision cards. Those will be the 8 main topics that I'll be going over for each character breakdown that I do in the future. So starting off with the character basics. Again, this is for Jayden Rundell. He is a UR unit, light elements, not limited, so you can pull him at any time in the future. Move 3, jump 1, 100 costs. His main job being King of the Stags, with the 2 sub-jobs Black Mage and Red Mage. His weapons are guns, armors are hats and cloths, as well as accessories. His master ability is increase HP by 10% for light allies, increase light attack by 15 for light allies, as well as increasing his own missile resistance for 10% and decreases AP consumption by 20 for himself. Jayden's TMR is an accessory that can only be equipped by missile type main jobs. It has 302 HP, 7 spirit, 12 accuracy, and 9 crit. Its ability gives the user a shield that reduces HP to self by 2500 HP at the max level, as well as 25 missile attack for 3 turns. I'm currently unsure if this shield would stack with other shield options in the game. If you know the answer, please leave a comment down below. It has a single cast and costs 24 TP to use. As this TMR is limited to missile units only, I personally would not invest armor pots and level up this TMR's ability. There are better defensive options for TMRs that help out your entire team, as well as just have better stats and more than a single cast. I also prefer my TMR to have some agility included somewhere, since this is limited to missile units only again, as they have great damage accessories and gear available to them now. For elemental resistances, Jayden takes an extra 10% damage from darkness attacks. For damage resistances, he takes an extra 5% from piercing, 5% from striking. He has 20% missile resistance, as well as 10% magic damage resistance. For his status effect resistances, he has 50% to poison and toad, as well as 10% to slow. Alright, time for one of the longer sections of the guide, which is the skills. I'm going to be going over what I think are good skills, what I think are going to be less useful, and the optimal builds that I believe work for Jayden. So we're going to start with his support. So we have his 2 main job ones. We're going to have a range +2, as well as an agility 12% and spirit penetration 40. In my opinion, you're probably going to equip those 2 and call it a day. The only other ones that could maybe see light of day would be the magic +30% and the initial attack, the initial AP by 15. For my Jayden, I'm going to be using the range +2, as well as the extra 12% agility and the 40% spirit penetration. You guys will see why this spirit penetration is important coming up soon, because Jayden works a little differently than most other missile units that are in the game right now. Going over Jayden's 3 counter abilities, we have a basic counter shot, we have the Black Mage counter magic, as well as the Red Mage magic reflex. For all of these coming through right now, trying to decide which one I would probably use, my guess is I'm probably going to go for the magic reflex, just to help boost up his survivability, because Black Mage, Black Rose Helena is still super hyper prevalent in pretty much everything but live PvP. So for anything auto battle, especially GVG, especially guild battles, Black Rose Helena is still very much a issue, and she will be an issue for a long time to come. So that extra 20% chance to survive anything, because if Helena probably touches Jayden, he's most likely dead. I could see it for the other ones. I could see for the other counter damage maybe, but my vote is still going to go for the magic reflex. As you can see by this symbol here, as well as the symbols that were up in his reflex abilities as well, his counter abilities, his main job, its type is magic. So Jayden is going to be based off of magic stat and not the attack stat. So that is why his passive, the spirit penetration, is super important for him. He does not need defense penetration. He does not need attack. He wants magic and he wants spirit penetration for Jayden's damage. So his main job abilities that no matter what your sub job are, these are the abilities that you're going to be getting. His first one is 6 cast, 15 AP. It is small damage with 100%, so it's basically a slightly softer damaging sharp shot. It has a base range of 5 with a range height of 1. So again, he's not going to have quite the same height scaling as a normal ranger class. He's going to be more like the gunners. I believe that this ability here is going to be one of his bread and butters, especially to be able to deal with Venera, Rue, and Stern that are out in guild battles everywhere right now to be able to deal with that dark evasion. He is a self buff where he's going to give himself missile resistance 25 for 3 turns as well as range +1, 2 cast, 24 TP. It is also one of the abilities that gets upgraded by his EX, which basically increases it all by a single turn, so it turns into a 4-turn buff rather than just a 3-turn buff. His next ability also gets upgraded by the EX, which gives it an extra range of +1, so its base is only going to reach a total of 4, technically 5 if you're including the end of the plus symbol. After the EX, it's going to go up to a range of 5, 6, it's going to deal medium damage as well as decrease attack by 38% for 3 turns. This is one of Jayden's 2 abilities on his main job that has a good range height. So now it's turning into a lot more like the archer class, being able to sharpshoot, being able to hit those big massive height differences. A very potent buff coming out of Jayden here. It's going to give himself and his allies 20% agility for 3 turns, and it's going to personally give himself 60% magic for 3 turns. Cross pattern, range height 0, AoE height 1, 3 cast, 36 TP. One of his other abilities, again range 5, range height 1, increases his missile resistance penetration on himself for 3 turns, and then does large light magic missile damage. His final EX, when you get him to fully EX out, it gives him a large damage, again range height 4, great to being able to hit anyone anywhere, and it's going to decrease their CT by 15. Out of his main job here, I would say his most important ability is his 100% chance move. I'm very, very happy that he did get 100% chance move, because Jayden does not have the best natural accuracy in the game, so having this in his pocket is going to be very, very helpful. I believe that his range +1 and his missile resistance self buff, even though it got EX up to 4 turns, I think this is probably the weakest ability in his kit here. The cross pattern with the range height of 4 is going to be very helpful when dealing with maps with a lot of elevation changes and having a chance to be able to hit those AoEs. The agility up for your teammates, 20%, is nothing to laugh at. That is Phoebe, any other time mage, they're trying to give yourself haste, they're trying to give you that agility up, plus a 60% magic boost for himself is another fantastic buff. If you have the accuracy to be able to hit, this one right here will be by far his best damaging ability, as it increases his missile resistance penetration by 30% for 3 turns and dealing the large damage. Unfortunately, the range height is only 1, but this is going to be his bread and butter for hitting his big numbers. And again, his final ability here, being the large range height 5 and then decreasing CT. You can definitely do a lot of things, more probably in live PvP with this one, just being able to try and manipulate those turns as best you can. So I'm going to go over one more time about his main job. Again, you can see everything here is based on magic. So again, you're going to be wanting to build magic stats, not attack stat for him, spirit penetration, not defense penetration, but everything he does is missile based. So magic attack, Trousseau, things like that. Sailir's TMR will not help him, as it increases magic attack for man-eater effects. None of his abilities are magic attacks. They are magical based missile attacks. So you want missile damage, magic, spirit penetration for Jayden. Okay, moving on to Jayden's sub-jobs now. So let's go with his main jobs, sub-abilities. So we have a 2-hit, 3 cast, 22 AP, just medium damage, range height 1, If you wanted to potentially build some chains, if you wanted to use him for rating, then this would be the sub job that you would use to be able to try and build up those chains and deal that extra amount of damage. But for most content, I would probably not advise using his mains sub job, as the 25% to inflict paralysis, again, range height 1, 4 casts. It's just not going to be as potent as one of his other sub jobs. So for his other sub job, we're going to be getting Black Mage, which is going to give him Bio. Again, 50% chance to inflict poison, small damage, Banish, Banishara, Absorb TP, some Sleep, a Drain. Drain would be the only thing, I guess Flare as well. Drain and Flare are definitely ideas you could use towards Jayden. I would probably not. I still don't think they are enough. Flare being, if you're within 4 range here, like if you're within 4 range as Jayden, you're probably going to die, as he is not a defensive unit. And Drain here, again, 3. If you're that close, you're probably dead already, so you're going to be wanting to use a lot of his more missile attacks than anything else. You're not even going to get to play into any light attack damage up that you receive from your vision cards or your Espers. That will not affect your Flare or your Drain. So I would say Black Mage and his main sub job. Again, this one's purely for raids. I would not go Black Mage. For the main sub job that I would recommend is most likely Red Mage. You can have him as a slight little baby backup Red Mage healer, since again, you're building magic anyways. So if he has a high magic stat, he should be able to heal decently well. As well as he gets Jamming Thrust. Jamming Thrust being one of the best and one of the main reasons that you would want to have a Red Mage in the first place is Jamming Thrust. 5 range, cancels ability activation, so you can stop potentially a big damage move that is coming out, a Quicken coming from a Time Mage that's potentially going to destroy your team. I definitely recommend going Red Mage just for the little bit of baby backup heals, maybe being able to use Dispel, being able to get rid of some stuff. Like, it dispels all elements except Charm, Slow, Stop, and Doom. So again, those ones you're not going to be able to stop. But if your teammate gets disarmed, your teammates gets paralyzed. These are all things that you can eventually get rid of if you have the extra time to do it. Jayden's Limit Break is a 3 hit. So again, great for chaining, fantastic for chaining. It's got a range height of 2, so a little bit better, not quite as good as his best, but better than the singular ones. It's got a range of 4 base, which will get increased by his passives. It does large damage, 200%, and it breaks magic barriers for targets. So this will be an extra. This will also be a very potent ability that if the opponent has put up a bunch of barriers, boop, you're busting on through them. You're doing 3 hits. You're starting those light chains. You're starting those light missile chains. It's a very good limit break. I would definitely, if you were building Jayden, I would invest the pots for this one to be able to level up his limit break. Starting off with the equipment. Okay, so the main piece that we're going to be getting is from the new Hard event that is coming out on Wednesday, which is going to be the new Quasar gun. So the new Quasar gun is it's built for Jayden. As you can tell, the attack stat is super low, and then you're going to be wanting to build, again, so in Japanese, this top one is the magic stat one. So you're going to be wanting to build the magic, so it's got 181 magic, 3 accuracy, 4 crit rates. At the +5, it's going to give it 15 missile attack. Yeah, this is Jayden's bread and butter. You're going to build this little Quasar, you're going to make it magic, and he's going to do big damage with it. Starting us off, again, in the armor department now. So again, we've already used 1 slot for Quasar, and we're going to go over some 3 possible pieces of gear that I think best suit the next slot of gear for Jayden. The first option, in my opinion, is the new raid equipment that we're about to get on Wednesday as well, is the Diamond Coat. So as you can see here from the abilities, we have a Vital version, we have a Barrier version, and we have a Shield version. For this, I would probably either go the Shield or the Barrier version. The Shield gives you a lot more defense. In total, you're going to get 22 stats out of this, whereas you're only going to get 17 here. So you get an extra 5 amount of stats. So I would probably build the Shield one, as he already has Magic Reflex. So personally, for the diamond coat, I'm going to be building the shield version. As you can see at +5, it gives missile resistance penetration 15. There are not many pieces of gear. I think this is actually the only piece of gear that just passively gives missile resistance penetration, which is very, very nice. Unfortunately, Cloud cannot equip this in the future, so yeah, you can't. You can't have Cloud wearing this, but again, this is not for Cloud, this is for Jayden. So this is the first piece of gear that I would recommend, as well as the 30% AP, acquired AP for self. It's really nice. The next go-to I would consider is Alexandrite Ring. As we talked about earlier, he does not have the best natural accuracy. Yes, he has a 100% hit move. It is also small damage in compared to potentially the large damage you want to be doing. So the extra 40 if you're going for an aim Alexandrite Ring for the 20 and 20 on itself, plus the 5 elemental resistance to everything. It's something. It's something, but a full +5 Alexandrite Ring is a nice thing to have when you're trying to hit those super evasive teams. And the final little maybe slot that I would almost consider if you don't want to farm super heavy for the Alexandrite Ring or the Diamond Coat would be Wolf Mask. The only reason I consider for the Wolf Mask is because it gives 20 dexterity. You can also build it for aim, so you can get 30 accuracy on it. Dexterity does affect missile damage modifier, which is one of the main reasons why I would maybe consider this. You could go for more defensive options through different pieces of gear, but I still believe that if someone's close enough to really deal with Jayden, they're probably killing him anyways. So I'm trying to boost up that accuracy, and I'm trying to give him like a little bit of a damage boost. But again, this is more of a cheap to play option. I would definitely recommend the Diamond Coat or the Alexandrite Ring to complement the Quasar more. Okay, so now I have 4 TMRs to recommend. An easy one to always auto-recommend to anyone is Ziza's Illusionary Bells. This is one of the most go-to TMRs to put on any damage dealer you have in the game. Gives 7 agility, 14 accuracy. The Revitalize, the buff off of it, you can never go wrong with this TMR. If you want to be able to go spam the abilities, Illusionary Bell is always a fantastic pick. So now for the next 2 picks are both limited time units. Luckily, this one is going to get a reprint maybe next week. We'll see when the Halloween units get announced or not. But yeah, Little Leela, Halloween Little Leela's TMR, the Wolf Hairband. As much as it gives the 10 decreased defense and spirit for 3 turns on the buff, it gives 80 magic and 30 accuracy. The buff for this is going to make you significantly more accurate, and that extra 80 magic percent is going to buff all of Jayden's abilities. 5 agility. I always love some agility on a TMR. It never does me wrong. So that is the second of the TMRs that I would suggest for Jayden right now. TMR number 3 is another limited time unit, one that's about to leave us, in my opinion, is Laura's Backpack. 6 agility, 6 accuracy, 12 evasion. Evasion's not going to do much. A little bit of free accuracy, never hurt nobody. 6 agility. It's that in-between point between the Wolf Hairband and the Illusionary Bells. The buff, range attack, 1 for 3 turns, and critical damage 35. It also has 2 casts, which is potentially very, very useful for Guild vs. Guild if you're trying to get those 6 stars on your guild attacks. Like compared to the Wolf Hairband and the Illusionary Bell, I just have that single cast. Being able to cast it twice at the start of each round, getting that +1 range and that 35, that could potentially mean the difference between one-shotting someone and not one-shotting someone. I do like the concept of Laura's Backpack a lot. It's just almost for any gunner, I would consider it very, very strong. Like Laura's Backpack for Cloud, also a great option. And then the final kind of, you're more building a team maybe around this option, would be the V-Clan Mask, which gives you the evasion rate +30 and a nice wide range. With Elena just coming out and her being built very heavy evasive. If you want to play off of Elena and Jayden being magical bonuses, so really getting good use out of that Bahamut Vision card, you can equip the V-Clan mask up to Jayden and then give your Elena a little bit of a big evasion boost if you wanted. I would still recommend any of the first three, the Illusionary Bells, the Wolf Hairband, or Laura's Backpack. But V-Clan mask is kind of just like a fun other little option for equipment. For Espers, the Esper list right now, I would consider relatively short for Jayden. I would only really consider 2 Espers at the moment. One would be Bahamut. Bahamut's got great magic stat, 113, really high agility. Immobilize resistance is not anything too special. So if you were to go through for here, the magic tree portion of Bahamut would be wonderful for Jayden, as well as the human killer. The magic attack technically does nothing for him, but having to respec your Espers every single time, my guess is that your Bahamut looks something like this. If you wanted to purely respec it out, so it's just for Jayden, I would probably cap out the magic instead and get rid of the magic attack, since it doesn't bother to help him. But in my opinion, that's unrealistic. So yeah, Bahamut is option number 1. Option number 2, in my opinion, would be Carbuncle. Carbuncle also not too bad, only 3 less agility and a little bit less magic. Carbuncle is another fantastic option for Jayden. Technically has a bit more luck, so we'll have a little bit more dexterity. The Berserk is alright if you're going against King Mons. They give you a chance to potentially resist King Mons' limit break. But if King Mons probably up in your face, you already got other problems right now. But let's go to the Builder. So if we're going to be going through for here, the light attack all the way through will help out Jayden. The magic attack won't do anything, but let's say if you're trying to specifically hunt dark teams, you could go 10 light attack, you can go all the way through to the dark killer. As we're going through here, for myself, this currently is what my Elena looks like. I'm using the Carbuncle for my Elena right now, so she's got capped out dark resistance to potentially, hopefully, maybe survive getting one shot if they break through her evasion. But yeah, capped out light attack, capped out dark attack, and a little bit of evasion here. This is not really going to be up for Jayden. These are my main 2 options for Esper. If I wanted to respec purely for damage, maybe give a little bit more accuracy, maybe go up, maybe still go down the dark resistance. But yeah, but Bahamut and Carbuncle would be my 2 recommendations for Espers for Jayden. For the team building portion of the character guides, we're going to go through a couple different options. The main things are usually we have DPS units, we have support units, and then we have some tank units. So let's go through the tank units first. The tank units for Light are definitely Warrior of Light and Engelbert. As it stands right now in the endgame, they both have their EX. They both do great work at what they do. Engelbert is literally a walking wall. He's super hard to deal with unless you're going up against Helena, which you're probably gonna do a bit of. He will stop almost all forms of physical damage in its tracks. Whereas Warrior of Light is a little bit more balanced. Engelbert has guts. Warrior of Light's got a little bit of self-heal and a little bit more mobility. You can't go wrong with either one if you want a tank. It's up to you. It depends who you invested in. Did you even pull Warrior of Light? He's a limited unit. Engelbert, he's been here forever. He has been here super early. Can't go wrong either way. In terms of DPS, we have some options for DPS. We have, as people have been thinking, you have Elena, as they are both magical base. Elena is magical slash, and Jayden is magical missile. So they're both going to get those benefits of those magic up vision cards. But that's about where it lasts there. It's just magic and light, whereas slashing and missile, they're going to break the chains of each other. Just going to keep the elemental chainings. Camillo is another idea if you have him built up, as he is one of the selection units. He has a sniper class, so he has access to some missile. He has some access to some light missile attacks, so you can get some chains going there if you wish. He can be built a little bit tanky. You can throw some fun TMRs on him to potentially give some light attack up. There are some options here. And in my opinion, one of the best synergies that Jayden is going to have is actually Finna. For anyone that doesn't know, Finna has an ability called Sparkle Shower that works almost identically to anything that Jayden can do. So I highly recommend maybe giving Finna a try if you want to make Jayden work. She can also work as a backup healer and support. She can go both ways. You can either use her for light missile chainings, or you can have her be your healer, as she's got full life, and she's got that superior heal. The best support, still hands down, would be Yuna. Yuna's got full life, she's got re-raise, she's got 2 forms of 100% AoE damage, also scales really well with the magic. Yuna is a fantastic support unit that I could easily recommend, be it Warrior of Light or Engelbert, Yuna, and Jayden. That's a super easy team right there. Elena, Yuna, and Jayden, so everyone gets big bonuses from the magic attack. There's a lot of different little ways you can go about this, like all DPS, tank and DPS. I think it's relatively flexible, and I think Jayden brings great synergy, just a whole other angle of attack that Light didn't have before. The last part of the guide is vision cards. So what vision cards are we going to most likely use on Jayden, or just Jayden teams in general? In my opinion, I would say the top 3 cards would be Bahamut. Smite the Dark is honestly alright. Scion, Ruby, House Beowulf, not on him, but maybe on his team. It depends if you're using Bahamut or not, but you're probably using Bahamut, so you probably don't have enough space for Scion, House of Beowulf. And then the final one, let's go get it. Yeah, his own vision card here. Again, so his own vision card, 367 HP, 135 magic, 47 dex. Alright. Light attack up by 15 as well. So the global buff version for this one is going to include some max HP up, as well as some acquired AP up. So again, I was hoping for a little bit of damage boosting, but you know what, I'll take what I can get. Hopefully the max HP up is going to be enough to hopefully maybe make him survive some one-shots, and the acquired AP up, more AP, more times he can do abilities and less auto-attacking. I'll take it as a win as well. For the party effects for light units, AoE resistance up by a total of 20, as well as 18 missile attack. So if you're going to be running that Finna team like I talked about, the extra 18 missile attack is pretty sweet. Dexterity, it affects ranged units. Anything missile damage, dexterity helps out, plus a bit of accuracy. So it should help the accuracy for all your units. Overall, like, the card's not amazing in terms of some of the other ones, but this paired with Bahamut, like, having 20 AoE resistance, as well as Bahamut's 20 single target resistance, you basically have 20% resistance to every form of damage in the game, which in my opinion is pretty damn good. Yeah, the magic attack, unfortunately, Jayden being the holder of Bahamut, the agility is nice. It gives a massive amount of magic, same with some luck, but he's not going to get any real bonus out of the unit effects over here. But he's going to get a big helping of this 50 light magic attack up, as well as 8 agility is better than 0 agility compared to the House of Beowulf card. Smite the Dark is another option, as it gives a total of 25 magic up. Magic is good for both Elena and Jayden. It gives a lot of free AP at the start. 142 magic is nice, 344 HP. The luck gives some accuracy, gives some evasion. Luck is alright. Strike resistance. That's the only reason why I wouldn't overly consider this card, as Jayden does have a 100% move if he really wants it. You can find accuracy in other ways. Smite the Dark, unless you're using Elena and you're going for the accuracy mix of everything, I would probably skip Smite the Dark for Jayden himself. Scions of the Shadow. This is a super limited card. If you did not pick it up when Final Fantasy XIV first came around, or it came around the second time, this and a House Beowulf are the 2 main reasons why I like to hyper focus on my light teams, because this card is super rare and it gives me that bigger edge towards all the dark teams that are going about right now. Because I throw this on my Warrior of Light, or I can throw it on Engelbert in the future. It's going to give him a total of 30% because it gives the unit 10, and then it gives your whole team 20% dark resistance, and then gives also your whole team 35 light attack. It's got good balance between the attack and the magic, so you can put it on. You could technically put it on Jayden, but I would definitely put the Scions of Shadow on one of your tanks. Ruby Guardian Carbuncle is also another option. Gives a total of 10 magic stats for your main job, as well as 10 defense, -5 evasion rate, but that you don't need to worry too much about that. A high 164 magic, 2 spirit, 327 HP. You're not going to be able to use the ruby regeneration, unfortunately, because you're not a mage. But you know what? You'll take what you can get. Gives you a nice little 8 spirits and gives you 20 missile resistance. If you're going to be going against, like, if you think you're going to be going against Cloud Frederica, heavy missile teams, potentially Water Laura Croft and Winter Victoria, this is definitely something you could use to help prepare against those missile teams. But this would be more of a meta pick than a consistent pick, in my opinion. As it stands right now, I think I'm going to be leaning a little bit more. Let's see, if I built the Jayden Finna team, I would be going for Jayden getting his own card. I would put most likely Bahamut on Finna. And I would put Scion of Shadow on either Warrior of Light or Engelbert. That way you can have your tank go up, be aggressive, let them soak in all that damage. Finna can technically act as a healer, or she can start to chain with Jayden. That way you're going to be getting 20% darkness. Again, this is more for me trying to hunt dark teams. You can play around. There's lots of different options for this. But yeah, it's unfortunate that 2 of the best cards for light are stuck behind limited. Having Scion of House Beowulf and Scions of Shadow being limited, and now Smite the Dark as well. Dark is definitely on the. I mean, light is definitely on the ropes. It's hard. It's hard to be a light to try and start a light team right now. Another fun card, Red Chocobo. I bet you even forgot this card existed. But yeah, Red Chocobo here. Unit effect, 20% magic, 127 magic, light attack 20, and dark killer 20. Red Chocobo vision card's actually not bad. I would call it really a poor man's Scion of Shadows. If you had it, instead of just getting that extra resistance, instead you're going to be trying to attack a little bit more. But yeah, out of all of those, like Solidus as well. Throw Solidus on your Yuna. Get the extra 25% HP, 20% slash resistance. The light cards, they're very, very strong. Very strong. Hooey! So this is a long video, and I told you guys before that these videos are going to be long videos. You only need to watch them once. There's going to be full links down underneath so you can see the time codes if you want to jump around and see certain parts. See some opinions, leave a comment down below. I will respond ASAP. But yeah, these are my initial impressions of Jayden and how you can build him effectively and what to use with him. Yeah, these videos are going to be long, but I'm trying to be as informative as I can and try and give you guys my opinion on a unit. If you stayed this long, comment down below. I'm interested to see if this was a little too long for certain people. But yeah, I'm excited to do a little bit more. I'm excited to do more character breakdowns as we keep getting cool new units in the future, and just seeing how we can build them, especially with this game going more and more towards mono element characters. Yeah, hopefully we can eventually maybe spread back out and have less mono element. But you know what? If that's the way we're going, then that's the way we're gonna go. We're gonna keep building it, and I'm gonna keep giving you guys my opinion on on how to build certain characters. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.